Hello there, and welcome to my Minecraft survival world. So I've been playing this world for almost a year now. The idea is that I start off in the earliest versions of Minecraft and work my way up, slowly like getting everything that I can in each version, completing everything there is to complete, and then updating to the next one. So in a whole year I've only just made it to version 1.0, so I'm doing, not making particularly quick progress. I have a few rules for this world. Firstly, I can't downgrade. If I go up a version, then that's it, I'm in that version now, no going back. Secondly, it's pure survival Minecraft on hard difficulty, so no mods, no cheating, nothing like that allowed, obviously. As far as backups go, I get one backup per version change, so when I update to a new version, I'll back the world up. And if I want to revert to that backup at some point, I guess I can, but usually I would have done too much in the current version to be bothered going to a backup. As far as the versions I'll be playing goes, I'm not doing any snapshots, just actual versions, because the snapshots just have a lot of bugs that are pretty game breaking, which you can do cool stuff with, but like it's clearly not meant to be in the game, and they're kind of experimental, so I think that makes sense. I also will only be playing versions that are actually in the launcher. There are some old ones that I could have played, but they're not on the launcher, mostly because they have pretty scuffed bugs in them as well. Finally, there is a little bit of room for cheaty stuff if it's like absolutely necessary. For example, in this version, the end strongholds generate a lot closer to spawn than they do in like the next versions, and there's only 3 of them, and so they were all in explored chunks because it's like 600 blocks from spawn. So I regenerated a couple chunks so that I can actually go to the end, because the end in this version is actually different. It's kind of cool. So yeah, them's the rules. I guess I'll do a quick overview of what I've done in this world so far, just so you have an idea of where I'm at. Fade to black. I spawned in on this block of sand. There was no crouch in this version and no sprint. Armor was terrible. The actual protection of the armor decreased with the durability, so as soon as you took some damage, your armor just started becoming worse and worse. I was pretty scuffed, and food was terrible as well. So basically, the nights were not a good time, and we pretty much just hid. We just hid from the monsters all the time. So I built this shelter where I still live to this day, up there. And dug a hole to the void, of course. Needed to get cobblestone from somewhere. What definitely took the longest in this build was getting all these gems for the shrine over here, because the tool durability was just absolutely terrible in that version. So it took ages to get all this gold. Some other interesting things to note: skeletons just materialized arrows out of thin air, out of their hands. Pretty crazy. And I also had a very interesting walking technique. This tower was the first major construction project, which was a royal pain in the ass because I didn't have crouch, so I kept falling off. To make things worse, the water didn't always save my fall, and I'm pretty sure it still doesn't in this version. Knew it. Also, wheat just breaks when you walk on it, which is incredibly annoying for farming wheat, as you can imagine. Minecarts look funny. Slimes look funny. Your mama looks funny. Sorry, those aren't called for. In this era, there were these monolith things spawning due to some sort of terrain generation bug. I did end up using a third-party program to actually find them, because finding them manually, just wandering around the world, would have taken absolutely ages. As it was, they were 45,000 blocks away, with no sprint, mind you, and boats, I'm pretty sure, were slower. So it took a long time to get there. I think it was like a 3-hour journey one way, and then I walked back as well. But as you can see, they're pretty cool, so it's definitely worth it to load them in. Some of my other exploits were sharing the sheep with my bare hands, using a block replacement glitch, watched a bit of a strange minecart, and I did also build this tower, the Tower of Eastgard. With this era, I could finally sleep, which honestly felt so good, not having to spend the night hiding in some sort of cave or dirt hole. I also found my first dog, called Doggo. And my second dog, which I called Boggo, as you can see, very creative naming convention. I wanted to get these April Fool's chests that appeared in this version, as you can see here. But to do this I had to set my PC time to April Fool's, which ended up creating some really strange time warp effects, which were kind of fun. But then I realized it was getting dark and monsters were going to spawn and they were going to be fast. That was going to be a bad time, but it ended up righting itself before that happened. The next thing I built was the forge. Tragically, as I was building the forge, Boggo was helping me and he fell off the roof and died. Very sad. There's this cool furnace that will always be burning set in the door above the forge. And put all these weird things in the furnaces because you could. I found Doug the dog, who is my new friend to accompany on all my adventures. I went to the Nether where I got assailed by hordes of ghasts. It was terrible. I eventually managed to build this defensive structure and the ghasts retreated. So good times. I also grew the notable tree, cactus, and made a redstone clock, which doesn't work and always breaks, but that's okay. Also, strange invisible chests. Crazy. In this area there was blocking, sprinting, and critting, which was lovely. There's also shift clicking, which was something I very much appreciated. Also achievements were added, and this arena was built to get the first monster hunting achievement. I also built this tower, which isn't finished, don't judge me, and the cave under it, which is a lot cooler and actually finished. At this point Enderman could also hold a bunch of blocks, not like spawners in like every block, but they could hold a lot of random blocks. So I went far into the east and made a Enderman holding pen where I got them to hold the blocks and then left the chunks unloaded, and hopefully they'll still be there when I go back with name tags and name tag them, because at the moment there's no way to stop them despawning. Now you might have thought this was Boggo earlier, but actually at some point around this time Doggo duplicated somehow. You know, some people say it's the reincarnation of Boggo. I think Doggo just has some sort of cloning powers or something. In terms of builds, it was high time that the nether portal got a lava filled hole, of course. I built most of the city area, as well as these northern towers and this bridge. That one's got, I think, melons and that one's got pumpkins in it. I built a lair for my snowmans. Hello. Also this fortress thing, where I did the first brewing. Also built this block transmutation thing, which doesn't work anymore, but definitely used to work, and I got some cool blocks out of it. Oh my gosh, it does work. Well, it didn't work last time I played. It's temperamental, let's just say that. Also, this nether portal isn't lightable. Maybe you'll get lit one day in the future. The last thing I wanted to do in this version was make a build of some sort for each of the animals, because they'd only just become persistent. Before this they just despawned all over the place. It was pretty useless. So we got the Shrine of the Pig, the Eyrie of Featherwing, the Cow Crypts, and the Pillars of Sheep. So that brings us to present day, where I've completed everything I want to complete, and the only thing left to end out the era is to vanquish the Ender Dragon. So stay tuned.